Hey, I'm the host of this show today. Welcome into the PHNX Bets Daily Podcast, presented to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star wherever you get your podcast. I'm Johnny Venerable. I'm joined on this fine Tuesday by Shawn DePaz. NFL trading deadline heating up. I wish you could gamble on it. You can't, but there's plenty of other things to discuss, Shawn. But before we do that, we want to recap what was kind of a dumpster fire Monday Night Football game last night. I thought the Bengals, even without Ja'Marr Chase, were going to be serviceable. I mean, good hell, it's Jacoby Brissett. That did not happen. They look like hot garbage. I believe the over-under was a push. I think it was right at 45 points. So didn't hit the over. Bengals obviously lost. But my props did much better, Shawnee. T. Higgins, anytime touchdown, check. Amari Cooper had over 100 yards, been fantastic for them. Jacoby ended with, I think, 12 yards rushing. So not the best night for me. You know, if that over hits, I'm 500. But yeah, it was not a fun game to watch. Not visually pleasing.
Yeah, I didn't bet on the game last night, and thankfully I didn't really get a chance to watch it. But I did go back and look at some of it. I was with you. I would have also chosen the Bengals in that game. I didn't expect. I did not so much that I didn't expect the Browns to be able to compete. I just did not expect the Bengals to look that bad. But such is kind of the nature of the AFC North. I feel like anyone. I mean, I feel like the Ravens are pretty clearly the best team in that conference, but I feel like otherwise anyone can win any game. Like even if the Steelers come out here and win, I'm not going to be really surprised. So, but yeah, I did not expect the game to be as ugly as it was last night.
Well, I think what it's kind of rearing its ugly head again. Zach Taylor can't win without Ja'Marr Chase. He was terrible even with Joe Burrow before Ja'Marr got there. He's been terrible without him now. They look dysfunctional. And you should be able, with Joe Burrow and T. Higgins and Joe Mixon, that's enough. Hayden Hurst at tight end. They've got the other receiver, Tyler Boyd. Like, you were in the Super Bowl last year. You're losing and in a blowout fashion. I know Burrow's never beaten the Browns, which is a crazy statistic. But you know, at the end of the day, like, you were the representative in the AFC. This division is there for you to plunge on. Baltimore, as great as Lamar has been, they have no playmakers. All their receivers are hurt. So I don't know. I think, you know, Shane, give him credit, before the season said he thinks the Bengals were going to take a step back. I just thought they were too talented by default, kind of like a certain team out here in the desert, but doesn't look like it's going to go their way. I don't think they're a playoff team this year.
No, I don't think so either. I like understood Shane. I thought they were going to take a step back, but I thought a step back would be like, oh, they're going to lose in the divisional round of the playoffs, or like, oh, they're going to lose, like they'll lose the AFC championship. Like I still expected them to be a good competitive team. And obviously the Ja'Marr Chase injury impacts that, but I did not expect it to look as bad as it has this year. I'm not complaining though, because that's one less competitor in the AFC that I have to worry about.
Yeah, that's right. You know, we're in the midst of the NFL trade deadline. The Cardinals have not made a move. I don't think they're going to make a move now. Trades can still trickle out past the hour, but it's over. It was capped off at noon. Shawn, what are your initial takeaways from the trade deadline? Anything jump out to you that might change the complexity of contender betting, future bets on DraftKings based on any move today? Did somebody separate themselves today?
I don't know if anyone really moved themselves into contender category, but the Dolphins trading for Nick Chubb, I think, or Bradley Chubb, excuse me, was I think a really nice addition. I think they gave up a first round pick for him. If I didn't get a chance to, like, I don't really like that for them, but in terms of how competitive they're going to be this year, I really like that trade. Otherwise, I mean, I don't understand what the Bears are doing. I don't understand trading for Chase Claypool. That just makes no sense to me. And they gave up their own second round pick instead of the. I know they have the Ravens.
That's going to be maybe top 40. I think they can win a couple more games this year, but that's the head scratcher for me.
I just don't understand why you're trading away such assets on the defensive side of the football and then going to get a guy who's not like a game breaker. Like, it's not like Chase Claypool is like this otherworldly wide receiver. So I did not understand that move at all.
There are Chase Claypools available every offseason, every free agency period. I know, maybe I'm sure that the guys who run the Chicago Bears obviously scouted him in their previous roles, maybe thought super highly of them. But, you know, the Bears have been moving the ball without another receiver, Mooney and Dante Pettis. And, you know, they run the ball effectively. I would have liked after the Roquan Smith trade yesterday, just continue to stockpile picks and, give Miami credit. So the Miami Dolphins had traded 3-1s or had received 3-1s from San Francisco when San Francisco came up for Trey Lance. Here's what the Dolphins have turned those ones into: Bradley Chubb and Tyreek Hill. And then the other pick they used on Jalen Waddle. So they're hitting home runs. And Chubb, he'll get re-signed. They have Jalen Phillips they took out of Miami a couple years ago. Very fun team with Mike McDaniel, and they've got 2 on that rookie contract, so they can be aggressive. You should be aggressive. Dabbling on DraftKings, new customers can make any $5 bet on an NBA money line and get $200 back if your team wins. Suns are red hot. You can also boost your winnings up to 100% with DraftKings step-up same-game parlays. Thursday Night Football right around the corner. Click that little button, enable the same-game parlay, and prosper because of it. It's simple. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use that promo code PHNX. That's promo code PHNX on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. This has been one of the busier news days of the year.
Yes.
We've got some World Series betting to talk about, but before we get to that, so the Nets, I was at Brooklyn Nets, Cleveland Nets, but the Brooklyn Nets are an unmitigated disaster. They have fired Valley native Phoenix legend Steve Nash. He's gone. Yep. Now they're hiring the Celtics suspended coach.
Ime Udoka,
is this even possible or illegal?
Yeah, well, so as far as my understanding, it's the Celtics that suspended him, not the NBA. So I guess if you get rid of him, then who cares? I don't understand what Joe Tsai is doing over there, or Sean Marks. Like, I don't understand what's happening. You're putting, just a bona fide anti-Semite, one of the largest egos in the league, a man who's afraid of playing basketball, and the problematic coach that is Ime Udoka in the largest city in the world. Like, I don't understand how this works out. Ime Udoka was a good coach with the Celtics, but the Celtics are still good without him. It's not like he was necessarily the entire reason that the team got real good. And I don't think that he is going to come into New York and all of a sudden have an authority that Steve Nash didn't have and get this team on track. Like, it just seems like a disaster.
Well, clearly the Celtics thought our culture's here. Our culture can persevere. It's persevering. Say what you want about their meltdown in the finals last year against the dynasty, but I mean, Jason Tatum's fantastic, and Jaylen Brown's ascending team player. Like, the Nets, to me, it's like if you're a Suns fan, and I don't know the logistics of like what it would take to still get Kevin Durant. I know DeAndre Ayton can't be traded until midseason, if at all.
Yeah, December.
And so so I just want more gasoline on this fire to have it implode. I would love to see them be 10 games below 500 by the midpoint of the season. I just think the East has gotten too deep now, for them to fuck around and think they're going to do something. Kevin's been fantastic, 36 points the other night, but they're not a team that you can consistently count on. Certainly, it's not a team I would recommend betting on. Yeah. But if you're a Suns fan, the Suns look like another team that's going to win 60-plus games in the regular season right now. Mikal Bridges is playing fantastic. Cam Johnson, their bench looks way better than ever. Yeah. Our friend Espo has been on this program, has talked to us about the over-unders for the season. But it's not a championship team, in my opinion. It becomes a championship team if you can get Kevin Durant. And that you should be monitoring this situation, because this is kind of the last-ditch effort for them. They're firing Steve Nash to try to save their season, but I don't think – Ben Simmons, I picked him to make the All-Star team. Shane laughed in my face. He looks like a G League player at this point. He's not an NBA starting player.
Yeah, I'm also on the record. I believe I said it on a show before. I was with you with Ben Simmons. I thought that there was a chance that he was going to be good. Yeah. We were both wrong. He
might be worse than last year.
Yeah, it is genuinely the worst he's ever looked, which is saying something. He does look worse than he did last year, and he didn't play last year, and he somehow manages to look worse than someone who wasn't even on the floor. This Nets team, I just don't understand, and I also think it is kind of like a larger, like, look at the NBA. Everyone's like, super teams are ruining the league, and it's like, okay, but also you can't just put any 3 stars on a team and assume it's going to work. Like, the Nets have proven quite clearly that is just not the case at all. And I mean, to a lesser extent, that the Sixers have done the same thing. Like they have shown that it doesn't really work in terms of trying to win an NBA championship. And I also, I just that team is a train wreck. Move them back to Jersey. I don't know what you have to do, but I don't think that they get better anytime soon. I think the only way I don't think they get better anytime soon. I think they have to blow it up at this point. There's no saving it, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed. We'll see how long they procrastinate doing that because they've got depreciating assets. Kyrie Irving becomes less and less valuable by the day because he keeps opening his mouth. So here's what I will say. Two teams that are not depreciating in the World Series, the Philadelphia Phillies, after a rainout last night, are going to host the Houston Astros tonight in Game 3 of a really fun, entertaining World Series thus far with a lot of runs. Shawn, what do you like tonight?
I was going back and forth on this, but from my understanding, we are ultimately on the same page. Phil's money line. I still think that the Astros are going to win this series. It might go 7, I think, but I think the Phils win tonight, and I think they win Verlander's next start because Verlander's batting the World Series. So I'm going Phil's money line. I just think that first World Series game in Citizens Bank Park this year, I just think that home field advantage is a little bit too much. I think it's probably one of the best home field advantages in all of baseball. And Bryce Harper's just been so good that I just feel like the Phils take this one. And then over 8 runs. I mean, you saw it when the Phils win games, it's because they're blowing the brakes off of people. I mean, game 1, it was a 6-5 final score. The Phils could end up hitting 8 runs themselves with the way they play baseball. So I like the over, and I like Phil's money line. If the Astros win, I won't be surprised because I do think ultimately they're the better team. But it really just depends on which Lance McCullers we get tonight, because first game that we pitched his playoffs was really good, and then the second one was not good at all. So we'll see. But I think with the home field advantage and the inconsistency we've seen from McCullers in this playoffs, I think the Phillies will get a win.
I like your picks. I don't like this because it's not true. At least what I'm seeing, Ozzy 221. The Cardinals did not trade for Montez Sweat. Making me almost throw up here in my seat. I was so excited. Live show. I was going to put some stuff together. Ozzy, unless you're seeing something I'm not, my guy. Come on, don't put that on me. My heart stopped for a second. But I like Shawn's picks a lot. Here are my picks as we continue to monitor the trade deadline. Get the hell out of here, Ozzy. We love you. Phil's money line. I think the Phillies win. They've been a freight train from hell at home. They're unbelievable. That crowd. The last time they were in the World Series, they won it. They didn't have home field advantage in that game. And I do think we're going to see the over again. It's been a robust World Series with a ton of runs scored. And I'm a fan of runs. And I think we're going to see over 8 of them tonight.
Breaking news, the 49ers have traded Jeff Wilson Jr. to the Miami Dolphins for a 2023 5th-round pick. So they get a running back, I guess.
Yes, they're going all in with Mr. Christian McCaffrey, who can't stay healthy, and Elijah Mitchell must be close to returning for them.
Yeah, but I'm with you on the Phillies. I think it's a perfect storm for them to win this game in an exciting fashion, because that appears to be how the Phillies win games in the postseason.
And they do it behind this man, Bryce Harper, who I think is going to hit an anytime home run tonight, plus 425 on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. My prop of the night. That contract has been worth all the money in the world. I remember he didn't sign until like late February, early March. It was that weird kind of non-hot stove free agency period. And people are like, that's such a dumb contract. I mean, he's been the best player in this postseason, Hall of Famer. He's lived up, in my opinion, to the momentum. And then after Washington won a championship without him, I'm happy that he's able to rebound. And I think he has a big game tonight, Shawn.
Yeah, I was a pretty public Bryce Harper hater, not as a person. I love him as a baseball player. I think he makes the game more fun, but I just thought that Phillies paid way too much for him. And to be fair, for a while I was right. Like his Nationals career was very good. He had 1 or 2 very good seasons, but otherwise was just kind of a above average player. And so I thought that when the Phillies gave him all this money, it was ultimately going to be a mistake. I was very wrong. And I'm okay that I'm very wrong, because, like I said, I do like Bryce Harper, and I think he makes the game more fun. But, yeah, I'm with you on the Bryce Harper train today. I didn't take him anytime home run, although I probably will also take him anytime home run. But the prop that I took for him was Harper over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs.
I like it.
I mean, if he hits a home run, then he hits that immediately. Obviously, right? He gets a hit and an RBI. But I like you said, he's been the best player in these playoffs. Certainly the best player on this Phillies team. I think he has himself a game. And then a Schwarbomb, Boston, Massachusetts. Well, no, he's from I forgot the random Massachusetts town that he's from. But I think this Phillies team, when they hit, they kind of hit in bunches, and their offense just tends to go crazy. And I mean, Schwarber, NL leader in home runs. If this game goes the way I think it goes, I think you see a few home runs, or at least 2 home runs from the Phillies, and it's from Harper and Schwarber. So I think the bats might make me a little bit of money.
You can also make a little bit of money with a boosted 25% hit prop boost on DraftKings right now. Go opt in, log into your account, click the opt-in button. You can take my prop, you can take Shawnee's props, anything you want, and you can boost it 25% right now on DraftKings.
I think I had another one. I don't know if I actually sent it to Jacob, but on the other side of the ball, Lance McCullers over 4.5 strikeouts. He's only had less than 5 strikeouts like once since September, or like over the last 2-3 months or whatever. So I Waltham, yes, but yeah, I whatever. He's a Boston guy. I miss him on the Red Sox. He's not actually. I knew he wasn't actually from Boston, but yeah, McCullers. Like I said, I don't necessarily know which McCullers you get, but regardless, he strikes batters out at a higher than 4.5 strikeouts per game rate. So I think you see him. Kind of get rattled if he gave up like a first inning home run to Bryce Harper or Schwarber, and then got 2 strikeouts that same inning. I wouldn't be surprised. So I like him over 4.5 strikeouts.
I'm into it. I'm also into you liking, subscribing, leaving us a 5-star on PHNX Bets Daily Podcast. You got a little bit of everything. NBA, NFL trade deadline, the hot Mets disaster that is the Cincinnati Bengals, and a World Series Game 3 preview. We will be back tomorrow noon. Shano is back. Shawnee, thanks so much. Sorry about your Syracuse orange. Hey, and we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you tomorrow.